So this healthcare stock has a $451 billion market cap. This is a massive company. Price to earnings at 22, not bad. 5-year earnings per share CAGR of 6%, that's all right. Debt to equity of just 0.5, I really like that. And then looking at the advanced metrics here, gross margin of 68%, that is unreal. Operating margin 24%, net profit margin of 22%. Those are really good metrics. I really like this return on equity of 30. The growth rates are slower. This is a massive business, as I highlighted, a near $500 billion market cap company. So you're seeing some slower growth for the most part there. The stock has appreciated a bit. So from 2017, we had a price per share of $112, and this is up to $170 per share as of 2022. Some solid price appreciation. I think first glance, we're seeing a decent business. I don't mind that PE as well. Now let's look at the financial reports to see if there's anything more to the story before revealing what the stock is and whether I should make an investment. Looking at the consolidated statement of earnings first, we're seeing sales to customers in 2021 of $94 billion. This is up from $82 billion in 2019, not bad. Net profit of $21 billion as of 2021. This is up from $15 billion, not bad. Going back a bit further here, in 2019, they had sales of 82 billion, and this is up from 76 billion here. So comparing to the most recent data, we're seeing some growth, about $10 of extra sales in that time being added on an annual basis, which is pretty solid. And then as I highlighted, their most recent net earnings are $21 billion. And in 2019, they had 15 billion, and this is actually up tremendously from just 1 billion in 2017. Now, this could be a one-off, so let's go a little bit further. And we can see that sales at the time were 76 billion in 2017 versus 70 billion in 2015. Once again, highlighting that they're currently at $94 billion. And then profit, again, they had $1 billion in 2017, and this is actually a drop off from $15 billion in 2015. So they had $15 billion of profit in 2015, and this is up to $21 billion today. Pretty solid. Now let's look at their cash flow from operating activities here. And we're seeing 23 billion. This has pretty much stayed flat across the board in that time. And then going all the way back, let's just see how they were doing in 2015 period. And this was at 19 billion, or closer to $20 billion actually, as of 2015. So over that time, they haven't seen a lot of operating cash flow growth, but there are solid numbers. It is a very profitable business. They've consistently been profitable, and they had one bad year here, it looks like in 2017, where expenses really accelerated. It looks like they paid a ton in terms of taxes on income. So there's a one-off. Again, I don't know the business until the end. It's revealed, so we got to stick around to find out, but something to keep in mind. And if you wanted to dive into this business further, I think 2017 is a good point to understand why, in fact, did they have to pay about $16 billion in taxes on $17 billion of operating income. Something to consider for sure. With all the factors we've considered, a quick summary: this is a healthcare stock with a $451 billion market cap. The PE is just 22, earnings per share CAGR of 6%. Roughly, gross margin at 68%, operating margin at 24%, net profit margin at 22%, return on equity of 30%. So solid numbers there. Slower growth, as we've highlighted here. The stock has appreciated. Just looking at things, I don't know if this is a business that deserves a massive investment. I do believe something of about $9,000 on a $100,000 portfolio seems reasonable just based on what I'm seeing here. Let's see if I'm right in my assessment. And boom, just like that, we generated another $5,000 in profit. This was quite the ride for some time. They stayed quite stagnant here, but let's see what the business is. And in this case, it's Johnson & Johnson, one of the most massive pharmaceutical businesses in the world. And on this date back in 2022, Yoko Tsuda became CEO of Johnson & Johnson, succeeding Alex Gorsky. At first, shareholders were probably like, what the heck, the stock is not appreciating at all. But since then, it has grown by 59%. This is a 14% CAGR over that period, and we added about $5,000 of profit on top of our $100,000 portfolio. Decent, not an overly exciting investment, but nonetheless, we made some money. We made a decent return over that time of 14% annually. It's better than the market, and I think we can walk away pleased with this investment. So let me know what you think of my analysis. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to help the channel grow. And also, if you want to play Compoundo, go to compoundo.com for free, and you can put your stock picking skills to the test.